The 5 News Vault is our favorite place to reimagine local stories with a modern lens. What we know now helps us appreciate what came before. Diving into these archives transports us back to the places, times, and communities that shape these stories. For today's Vault episode, we're taking a trip through the evolution of technology. Let's start with a classic, renting a movie back in 1983.
When it comes to weekend entertainment, video rental stores are among the busiest businesses around. Some of the managers we checked with say it's not uncommon to see as many as 4,000 movies and 40 or more VCRs rented on Friday and Saturday nights.
You cannot tell by looking at anybody, or their background does not dictate their taste in movies, and it's just a wide variety of what we rent. We're like a public library. We have a little bit of something for everybody.
By far and away, adventures and comedies seem to be this season's hot items, and more people are watching their favorite flicks from the comfort of their living room.
I've been going to theaters less. I used to go more like 3-4 times a month, and now I find I maybe go much less than that.
There was a time when the major motion picture studios viewed the video industry with a cautious eye, but now many studios have found they can get a greater return on their investment by releasing the film and the video version at the same time. The price of video rentals has fallen over the past several years, and that has made home viewing more popular for people of all ages.
Yeah, a lot of parents will come in, they'll get like 2 for the kiddies and then 1 for themselves after the kids go to bed to watch.
Targeting younger and younger audiences will help the industry capture the next generation of home viewers. In Fayetteville, Mike Thomas for the News People. The participants in the Robots and Manufacturing Automation seminar, now underway in Fayetteville, today attended a hands-on, or clamps-on as it were, demonstration of some of the hardware and software available to manufacturers. Program coordinator Dr. C. Ray Asphal says that robotics technology is advancing so rapidly that at times it's difficult even for engineers to keep up with. Nonetheless, he says robotics is here to stay.
Right now we have rudimentary programmable arms which pick and place products from machines, do spray painting and welding. Next we're going to see vision in robots, I think. Robots that can assess a situation and then make a decision and take an action.
Capable of performing tasks that are undesirable or too dangerous for humans to perform, robots and their computerized controls are becoming more and more cost-effective for industries. But don't worry about being replaced. Experts in the field say that in the future, for every worker a robot replaces, a new, more highly skilled position will open up in the area of computer programming and maintenance. From Fayetteville, Mike Thomas reporting for the News People.
Hello, I am the RB5X Intelligent Robot. Your wish is my program.
You just may be looking at the future. The RB5X is one of several small personal robots now on the market. The technology is new, but it's developing every day. With its basic program, the RB can move, talk, sense objects, stop, change direction, and when its battery wears down, RB can find its charger and plug itself in. But that's only the basic program. When the robot is plugged into a computer, it can be programmed for any number of functions. Executives from the RB Robot Corporation were in Rogers today demonstrating their creation. Richard Nelson says that soon robots will be able to vacuum the house, water the plants, bring in the newspaper, and handle even more important chores.
Some of the more serious applications are like for security. With sensors on board, the robot can check the doors in your house, make sure that they're locked. And with a modem device, it could even call the police and say, hey, there's a burglar here or something's awry in my home.
Nelson says that right now the RB5X is mostly used in schools to expose children to robots at an early age, to teach them how to communicate with this newest form of high technology. He predicts that in 5 years, robots will be as common and as important as computers are today. If that prediction worries you, you might take comfort in this. The RB5X has been programmed to be very polite.
Excuse me.
In Rogers, this is Steve Voorhees reporting for the News People.
David Searcy teaches a computer class at the university. He was busy this afternoon feeding homework into a computer his students will later use to complete the assignment. There are about 150 courses offered at the university each semester that require some computer work. In the past, students waited in line to use some 70 computers, but now there are 225 terminals, which should mean no waiting.
Except the students now have faster response times, so they can learn faster. They can get their work done quicker, and they can see immediately results that, now that they come immediately, whereas in the past it took a few minutes to get them.
2 of the 5 computer labs are open to students 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That keeps technicians in the main computer room busy, even though these giant units store much more information in a more efficient manner. University officials say students can now receive information in 2.5 seconds, information they previously had to wait 40 seconds for. University officials say the new computer technology will add up to a better computer education for students, with no waiting. Reporting for the News People from Fayetteville, I'm Wendy Burkeen.
One of the best parts about watching Vault Stories is even when we know how it all turned out, we still get swept up in the moment, wondering what comes next. And yeah, we remember how thick computers used to be. This one has been with 5 News since 1989, and it still works. But speaking of thick computers, here's some stories from when the University of Arkansas first introduced these new machines to their classrooms.
Estimates are that nearly half of Arkansas's school districts are unable to offer advanced math and science courses, due mainly to a shortage of teachers. Since higher teacher salaries and district consolidation are such politically volatile solutions to the problem, researchers have turned to the computer for help. Doctors Barry Jo Price and George Marsh are co-directors of the Center for Interactive Technology. They have pioneered a system of computer-directed video instruction, which they say could someday replace the teacher in the traditional American classroom. The program is a mix of video segments and computer sequences, which can be adapted to most any subject matter. A complete high school trigonometry course has already been developed, and Price and Marsh say physics and chemistry courses should be available early next year. But can the students learn from a computer?
We have a range of scores on a nationally standardized test that's between 62nd and 99th percentile. So we were very pleased with the results. The students did learn trig.
The Center for Interactive Technology produces its own programs and is working with both schools and businesses to distribute their teaching packages. It's hoped this will help solve the already critical shortage of qualified teachers.
In the entire state of Texas last year, I think if my facts are straight, they graduated 1 math teacher at the secondary level. We graduated 12 science teachers in the whole state, all colleges last year. California had 97. So we have a very definite teacher shortage.
From Fayetteville, Mike Thomas reporting for the News People. There'll be a new instrument in the Razorback Band this year, but you won't be seeing it on the playing field. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even make music. What it does do is make the director's job about 50% easier. Before any formation is put on the field, it's first put on paper, a task that used to take hours. But since the arrival of this Apple II computer, writing herd on this horde no longer entails being a mathematic magician.
The computer does all that work for us. We look at it on the screen and we either say, hey, that's exactly what we hoped it would look like, or we say, no, that won't work, and you erase and you start over again within a matter of seconds. And so you spend, I'd say, 90% of your time being creative or trying to be creative now rather than working through mathematical formulas.
The programs are the product of a former Texas band member, Pi Cobb. His latest achievement, an animation mode, should be delivered in a few weeks, enabling bandsmen to see the show in motion before practicing it. Will the next step be automated marchers?
I probably think not. I think we're still going to have human bandsmen out there playing the same instruments and sounding a lot like they have before. I think we'll probably have more interesting shows and probably more creative designs and so forth, because we won't have to spend so much time just figuring out the mathematics of it.
From Fayetteville, Mike Thomas reporting for the News People. Having adequate lines of communication is oftentimes crucial for law enforcement officers, particularly for those who may find themselves in an emergency or critical situation. The Springdale Police Department is nearing the completion of a major overhaul of its communications system. The old base radio dates back to 1972, and the mobile units that were recently replaced had problems of their own in addition to their age.
The cars had trouble talking from one side of town to the other of each car. The walkie-talkies were just almost useless. They were half-mile range, and we were able to get a lot more security for the officers by buying new radios. It's ultra-high band. There's no interference at all. We got 12 walkie-talkies where before we had only 6, and every officer wasn't able to have one, and so improved our security quite a bit.
The extra security the new radios bring to the officers more than outweighs the system's modest $108,000 price tag, according to Chief Brewer. A new feature now permits officers to speak directly from their car radios to callers via phone lines. Additionally, a unit identifier records each time a patrol officer keys the microphone, the time and nature of the call, and should the situation be an emergency, the printer makes a note of it by switching to red ink. Police Chief Brewer's department has also been budgeted to receive a new, more efficient computer to tie into the state and national crime information centers. All in all, the security of the entire police force has been enhanced by the new communications equipment. From Springdale, Mike Thomas reporting for the News People.
Even if, like some of us, you weren't alive when 5 News first aired these stories, we hope you still can get a glimpse at an era when you couldn't be on the home phone and the internet at the same time. Roll the tapes.
The T-3586 is a heavy-duty, computer-controlled robotic arm. The $110,000 machine was recently donated to the College of Engineering by Cincinnati Millicron Incorporated. Since it can lift up to 225 pounds, move 240 degrees from side to side, and place a load within 5/100ths of an inch of where it's told to, it will be of particular interest to companies that do a lot of pallet loading. It's one of a growing family of 10 robots that reside at the Engineering Experiment Station in Fayetteville. Dr. Ray Asphalt says the center has become the premier site in the Southwest where industry representatives can get hands-on experience with robotics.
That is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the type of equipment that is state-of-the-art, if possible, the latest equipment that can be used in manufacturing automation, and have industries come in here and experiment with what they might use in their own plant.
Each year, the center sponsors an Industry Appreciation Day, inviting representatives from across the country to view firsthand various industrial applications of robots. U of A faculty and students can set up mock assembly lines for interested onlookers who may want to make an investment in the future. Speaking of the future, when this Hero 1 Heath kit is fully assembled, it will have a 750-word vocabulary, sonar hearing, photoelectric sight, mobility, motion detectors, and with any ego at all, should be one of the stars of this year's industrial exhibition in November. From Fayetteville, Mike Thomas reporting for the News People. Making the wrong choice when buying new equipment can have serious financial consequences for even the largest businesses. For that reason, the Center for Robotics and Automation sponsors an annual seminar where area businessmen can get hands-on experience with the latest in automated equipment before they buy. This year's seminar has attracted some 55 participants to Fayetteville. Here at the College of Engineering's experimental station, businessmen can shake hands with the hero or receive a personal thank you from an automated arm. As Dr. Bill Rader explains, the seminar involves much more than just fun and games with electronics.
What we want to do is to help Arkansas industry avoid expensive mistakes by either buying one, a robot that's too fancy and too expensive for what they want, or two, buy a robot that doesn't turn out to work just right. So what we'll hope they can do then is buy the least expensive robot that will do a good job at the job they're looking for.
This year's participants saw a display of the center's newest piece of automation. This heavy-duty robotic arm was a gift to the school from the Cincinnati Millicron Company. It has become one of a growing family of 10 robots that now permanently reside here at the center. From Fayetteville, Mike Thomas reporting for the News People. The university rolled out the big guns for 40 area computer campers in grades 7 through 12 today with a demonstration of the Cincinnati Millicron industrial robot. The students, representing 10 school districts in 5 different counties, are in town this week for the 3rd annual U of A computer camp, now underway at the Engineering Experimental Station. The primary purpose of the camp is to teach the students, through hands-on experiences, the basic language of computer programming. But as Professor Jerry Graves explains, the camp actually goes far beyond that.
We're teaching them the basic principles of computing, computer hardware, computer programming. We're trying to give them appreciation for some of the applications of computers. That's why we had our robotics demonstration today. We also allow them to program some of our tabletop robots, in addition to some computer graphics that we have them do on some other equipment.
There will be another camp offered 3 weeks from now, but it too is already filled to capacity. Area hackers interested in attending next summer's computer camp are encouraged to contact the U of A's Division of Continuing Education. From Fayetteville, Mike Thomas reporting for the News People.
When Eugene Sargent's name was announced as a grand prize winner at the International Science Fair, he says he was shocked and obviously happy. The Fayetteville High School senior's winning project is an invention that he built himself, virtually from scratch. Like most inventions, it started with a problem.
Basically, I was interested in robotics, and I wanted to figure out a way that I could make a robotic arm be able to manipulate objects.
Sargent decided the solution was to find a way to let a robot see a three-dimensional image. It sounds simple enough, but what he didn't know was that he was entering a completely new field, that this kind of 3D had never been done before.
It was an approach to solving a problem, and I hadn't really thought of how original it was.
Sargent says he worked on the project for about 6 months, using a laser and computer borrowed from school, a few printed circuits, and various odds and ends collected from a salvage yard. He says there was plenty of trial and error, but in the end, it worked. He may have lacked the high-tech resources of some of the country's better-known high schools, but his teacher, William Merrifield, says such resources may be overrated.
It doesn't come with money. It comes basically with talent and with the desire to be able to do something that's creative. Our students are just as capable as any other group of students in the United States.
Sargent says he plans to keep working on his invention. It's so new it doesn't really have a name yet. He starts college next year and will study electrical engineering, but he's not sure where. He's hoping his award will help get him into MIT. In Fayetteville, this is Steve Voorhees reporting for the News People.
Well, thanks for watching. And remember, next time your Wi-Fi glitches or your Bluetooth headphones won't connect, just be glad you're not waiting for the dial-up tone. We'll see you next time. This one's been with 5 News since 1989, and it still works. Yes. Oh, that was almost good.